Near at Christmas. It's getting nuts. Welcome, week 7. Ghost and I were just talking off air. It feels like it's damn near Christmas already, but let's get after it. Ghost, how we feeling? Week 7, a very bye-week blues type of slate. There's some studs, and then there are plenty of duds. I know, just me personally speaking, setting my seasonal lineups this week was gross. I think I have to start Michael Carter. I have to start Ramondre Stevenson, and I believe I have to start Nicole Hartman, who I love. Love you, Nicole, if you're listening. I'm sure you are in warm-ups right now, getting psyched. But I got to start Nicole Hartman in a standard league, of all things. So not much touchdown equity with him, except I believe he has scored twice in his last 2 games against Tennessee, because we know those corners cannot cover speed. That is exactly what Nicole Hartman has. But how are we feeling this morning, man?
I like this slate. There's a lot of good spots to be able to get different, and there's some questionable, min price chalk, especially on DraftKings. So, a couple pivots. There are some guys that are coming in chalky that are in some good spots, and I'll definitely have them in my main lineup depending on who it is. But it leaves us a ton of spots to get different, which makes this slate one that we are ready to smash. And I see how confident you are in reading that article. If you guys haven't done that, windailysports.com, Stix picks, GPPs. Make sure you guys go and get that. Check out the cash game check down as well to be able to always play your cash games to be able to solidify the bankroll. And reading those 2 articles, I see how confident you are, and just makes me even more confident heading into today. He's on mute.
Yep, I'm certainly taking a hard stance on ownership this week. There's it seems like over the last couple of weeks, like the quarterbacks that I have always kind of rolled with were very popular, and for good reason. I mean, it makes a lot of sense when a guy's popular, probably because they're in a really good spot. But I was very surprised to see that the 4 guys that graded out the highest for me, obviously, it's Patrick Mahomes. That makes, that's no surprise there. He's going to be pretty popular today too. I'll be double the field and wait on Patrick Mahomes just because. I think you saw it on, was it Monday night? They played the Buffalo Bills. Like, you can't, I don't know why the Bills played so slow for a while. They were running the ball. Like, don't play Tennessee's game against Tennessee. Go play quick. They can't cover anybody. Go play a fast game. And I think that's what the Chiefs will do, is just use Mahomes to beat them and kind of, negate Henry. I know you're never going to stop Henry, but you can't let the guy get 30 carries a game because, as you saw, one of the best run defenses in the NFL, on paper at least, could not contain this guy for 4 quarters, and no one can. So hopefully Kansas City gets a big-time lead, and that would be my game plan, to not let Henry kill me. I mean, if he goes for 102 scores, that's fine. That's right where he's priced at, is to be right about there for average. But it's when he goes for $150, 2-3 scores, 5 catches like that, it's just, that's trouble, and that's what Derrick Henry does. But then the other quarterbacks, as to finish my story here, was Aaron Rodgers. Absolutely love him. My model projected him for like 309 yards, and then I saw his prop was at 250. So I was like, all right, I'll throttle that down to maybe like the 278, 280 range. And that's why I think he's on our website right now. But yeah, Rodgers absolutely in a blow up spot here, according to the 80 model. And then Matt Ryan and Tom Brady. Tom Brady scares me a little bit, but I do got the TB12 hoodie on, the 7 rings. Maybe he's got 8 or 9 by now. I don't know what year I bought this. I think it was last year, but I don't know. So let's get into it. Carolina and New York. Honestly, I don't like anybody in this game besides Chuba Hubbard. I mean, it's just, he's cheap. He's 6,100. He's going to get 20-plus touches. He's active in the passing game. New York's defense is bad against both the run and the pass. I think their running defense is better. Their actually pass defense is better. They're 27th in run defense DVOA. That is bad. 22nd in pass defense DVOA. They're just bad.
Also bad.
Bad. So, I mean, DJ Moore, a very low-owned guy that was chalk for the whole first month of the season, and for good reason. The guy gets over a 30% target share. There's not many players on this slate that do that. There's going to be, arguably Ridley. We haven't seen him play in 2 weeks. Devante Adams is like a 40% target share, so that's just absurd. And then maybe, other than that, who else? Terry McLaurin is right around a 30% target share according to the 80 model. And other than that, it's got Godwin close now that Antonio Brown's out, but that's about it. So there is certainly some warrant if you want to play DJ Moore, a guy that everybody played for a whole month straight, and now that they're not playing him, he had a down week last week. But my concern here is New York keeping the pace on the other side, and I don't know. Are you a believer in Sam Darnold? Do you think this is a really good spot for DJ Moore?
I like it because of the price separation in the wide receiver group today, especially on DraftKings, where, in previous weeks we saw DJ Moore kind of floating around the same kind of price, around 7.5K. He's pretty much been that for the first 6 weeks of the season. But a ton of these, the elite fantasy wide receivers, when it comes to, strictly points per game and just where everyone's going as well, when we're talking about Devante Adams and Cooper Kupp and DeAndre Hopkins and a ton of these other guys, there was usually a $200 to $500 difference. But now it's not like, oh, hey, I'm not going to play DJ Moore because I could just go $200 up to, the Cooper Kupps, the DeAndre Hopkins, the Devante Adams guys. Now we're talking about $1,500 plus, which allows you to possibly get off some running back chalk. I'm really hope that that we get to have a good conversation about a certain running back that's at 5K that continues to haunt DFS players. That is ridiculously chalk this week. So, that like certain pivots in that range allows you to get DJ Moore and possibly call off someone that's ridiculously high owned, not only in the wide receiver group, but also in your 2-for-2 swap. So I do like the lineup construction that it gives us. My only concern is just how slow the Giants play in this game. I mean, this team is absolutely decimated with injuries. I mean, if anyone has confirmation if Slayton is playing, it looked like he was going to. But please drop that in the comments. From what I'm seeing, we're unlikely to see Shep. No Tony, no Saquon either, already confirmed out. No Galladay, of course, as well, that's just season after season. Kenny Galladay gets injured, unfortunately. And then with Calvin Ridley sitting there, who we love, by the way, we'll get to that game. Obviously, I think that's one of your favorite stacks too. But Calvin Ridley, $500 cheaper than DJ Moore. You could end up going up to DJ Moore. But again, with how decimated the Giants are, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep pace in this game, which kind of scares me a little bit.
Got any love for Devante Booker? He's out of my player pool, but I get why people would be interested if you need the savings because, again, it is a Patrick Mahomes slate. Derrick Henry's super, expensive. If you're stacking that game up, you're going to need savings anywhere you can get them. And me personally, I keep going to Miles Sanders in that price range as much as I don't want to play him now that everybody wants to play him because I like Miles Sanders when he's 2 to 3% owned. And Nick Sirianni never likes Miles Sanders, so I don't know if there's ever a good spot to play him. But thoughts on Devante Booker before we go on in the next game? Because I know some people have an interest in him, and he's certainly worth talking about just with the workload.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not the worst spot. Seeing I think it was 16 touches last week. A couple targets got negated by offensive penalties too there. So he was likely heading into that 18 to 20 touch range if those 2 to 3 targets weren't negated by offensive holding calls. So, seeing a guy with that kind of volume at 5.5K on DraftKings is certainly enticing. Just I keep going up to James Conner for $100 more. I mean,
love that
in a game where they are favored by 17. I mean,
gone are 19 now.
Yeah, like it keeps moving. So like when a game opens up at 17, obviously we certainly take notice. Let alone the fact that when Vegas feels the need to be able to actually move that line in favor of the Arizona Cardinals, like just goes to show how much they're going to be able to pound the ball against the Texans today. So getting a little James Conner, Cardinals D correlation, a little running back DST. I love that correlation in GPPs. James Conner there for me is the guy for $100 more, and the touchdown equity is really there. Like they are using him the same way that the Steelers were using him during that prime season of James Conner when he went absolutely bonkers, right? So I do like that. And then seeing him out-touch Edmonds, seeing him out-snap Edmonds now, and Edmonds kind of nursing a few banged up injuries, nothing crazy, but the minor injuries do add up. This isn't a game where they're going to need to force Edmonds into a play if they need to, right? So seeing Conner there for $100 more, I'll take him strictly because of the touchdown equity, because again, I don't know if the Giants are going to be able to move the ball.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think both defenses are in play again, just because kind of our connotation here on this game is very negative and very slow pace. And you look at the total, it's pretty low. So I don't really have much interest there. Moving on to the Jets, New England. I don't have anybody in my player pool for this game besides Damian Harris. I do have like 10% Damian Harris. I think he's going to be like 2 or 3% owned. I don't love it because we started to see a little more Ramondre Stevenson last week, which was kind of my sleeper all offseason once I saw him in the preseason. And I remember him at Oklahoma, I believe. The dude's fast as hell and just an absolute truck. So I'm interested in Damian Harris a little bit here just because they're a 7-point home favorite. And I feel like, no matter what, if it's a close game, Damian Harris is going to get a lot more run because Stevenson just can't block and he's got the fumble earlier in the year. It's just impossible to handicap Belichick. So I won't go overweight on anybody in this game. My exposure to Jacoby Myers has taken his touchdown prop, I believe, on FanDuel was plus 180, but he's going to be extremely popular today. I don't really want to play Jacoby Myers in a game where I don't think there's going to be much pace. I think this is an ugly game. My two favorite plays from this game are both defenses. That's pretty much it. But you got any other thoughts on this game?
No, that's exactly it. You could certainly do a lot worse than even punting with Jets D at 2,400 on DK. I mean, are they going to get scored on? Yeah, but it's not like they're going up against an elite offense either. So Jets D would be the one, I guess I could say player, the one play that I would mention for this game. I think Jacoby Myers has a safe floor. I just don't think that the upside is big enough in a game like this. Is it possible that he gets in the box today for the first time in forever? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had one last week and he got called back on a penalty, but in a game where I don't really foresee any back and forth, I don't have anybody from this game at all besides Jets D a little bit.
Right. Like with Myers, I would be interested in him if this total was high and if I liked him a lot last week because the total was so damn high as 52, and shout out to Isaiah for absolutely nailing that game. But right now with the Jets, implied team total is 17, and I think on the Win Daily adjusted expected team totals tool, they are at like 12.5 or 13. So to me, that's just a rule. I'm not playing anybody from that offense. So like Myers, I think his floor is fine. It's probably 12 points, so that's going to be over 2.5 times value. He's in play for cash for sure. But what's the ceiling? I just don't see it unless he scores 2 touchdowns, goes bonkers that way.
It's not there.
But yeah, it's going to be
right?
6 catches, 60 yards. If he gets in the box, cool. He got 18 points. There are plenty of guys in that price range that could do that. So I'm not going to play a chalky Jacoby Myers. But if he's in your cash lineup, I think that's absolutely okay.
A 6 for 54 stat line would be very Jacoby Myers-esque.
Exactly. He's going to get you 10 points. Yeah. He's going to get you 10 points.
Safe floor. Don't get I just don't see the with a ton of guys that he's surrounded by in that 5K range. It's actually, I don't want to say loaded. It's not to that point, but it's surprisingly deep, the 5K range today. So I'm not really going to a high owned Jacoby Myers, but you could certainly do a lot worse.
Give me Allen Robinson at 5,100 over Jacoby. 1% owned Allen Robinson, 15% owned Jacoby Myers. Yeah, I don't know, maybe, but I'm playing my flag there. Connor or Hubbard on DK? I mean, Hubbard's I think no matter what the contest is Chuba, unless it's a GPP build and you're pretty chalky across the board, get different with Connor, and then I think you're fine that way. Because I think in my article, I said it, the 80 Mile has James Conner as the second highest expected touchdown equity on this slate behind Derrick Henry. So he's in good company. Like when I saw that, I was like, something's up. And then I was like, this was Tuesday and Wednesday when I really haven't looked at any lines yet. And I was like, what the hell's going on with James Conner right now? And I look, it's like, they're a 19-point favorite. That makes sense. Moving on to probably the game of the week. I mean, every time that Kansas City is playing, it's my game of the week. I just love this offense so much, and
especially
I love how
their 31st
bad
defense.
Yeah, I love how bad their defense is. I think more than I like how good their offense is. So Patrick Mahomes, clear QB1 on this slate. On the other side, do you have any love in Ryan Tannehill? If you look at the box scores, Tannehill has done nothing against the Chiefs ever because they slow the pace down so much. I think that's what Vrabel's going to do again. It doesn't take a genius to figure out you don't want to get in a shootout with Kansas City unless you're, I guess, Baltimore Ravens this year. They are passing the ball like crazy. And then the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, both teams beat Kansas City playing in a shootout fashion, which is very surprising to see. Going into this year, I thought the Chiefs would kind of walk backwards in the AFC Championship. I don't know if I had them in the Super Bowl. But to see other teams play up pace and beat them at their own game was pretty surprising. I think that's a really good look for Baltimore to be able to play that way now because they're going to have to go through the Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl, most likely somewhere in the playoffs. And then, so I guess that's what got me off of Ryan Tannehill. But Ryan Tannehill at 2% ownership in a total of 57. What are your thoughts there? Is he in play? Because Julio's back, so I prefer Julio there. I'm not going to play Julio. I love AJ Brown in this spot, but I think Julio at least lessens the blow on coverage for AJ Brown. Do you think that Ryan Tannehill has 35 pass attempts today, because that if it's under 35, this just isn't a slate to play him, because unless you think he gets it done with his legs, he can always score a rushing touchdown. But I feel like the field is severely, including myself, severely overlooking Ryan Tannehill. Do you think this is a GP spot for him, or am I just kind of getting a little scared before kickoff here?
All right. Well, hopefully I don't make you go overboard on Ryan Tannehill, but I absolutely love him this week. This is a slate where I'm taking two different approaches. One of them everyone knows when I mention the first combination that's the option that's going to be my main lineup. But you can either approach this game in two ways. You absolutely lock Derrick Henry, and then you get a run back on the other side, whether it be double running back with Daryl or Darrell Williams. Remember, we had some fun with that last week, and he went bonkers. So we got to continue that. So you could go Williams, Henry, and go double running back. You can go Kelsey or Hill with Derrick Henry, and you absolutely lock in Derrick Henry, and you say that's the game script. Henry goes bonkers, and that's how they stay in this game.
The chalk build is going to be, everybody's going to have a piece of this game in most lineups.
Right.
I don't think anybody will full fade a total of 57 when the next highest total, I believe, is 51. It's going to be Henry, and it's going to be Nicole Hartman. Unfortunately, as much as I love Nicole Hartman and no one ever plays him, now he's very popular because for that exact reason, everybody is going to say, I need one Titan. I need Kansas City. I agree with that. I love that mindset, but it is going to be
exposure to the best game makes sense too. We preach that all the time. So
it's going to be Derrick Henry.
The second approach, if you're not locking in Derrick Henry, would be playing Ryan Tannehill with AJ Brown and hope that it's a post-Thanksgiving fiesta out there with the Tennessee Titans offense, where it's Ryan Tannehill to AJ Brown, and AJ Brown goes for 175 and gets in the box twice. Like, that's what you have. Like, if you are playing Ryan Tannehill over that first combination where I have Aaron Rodgers with Derrick Henry and then either Williams or Nicole Hartman or Kelsey. So I got one Titan being Derrick Henry, one Chief. If you need the cheap one, it's Nicole Hartman. If you can, I'm playing Travis Kelsey if you can, and then I'm playing Aaron Rodgers. Or you go with that second option and you play Ryan Tannehill with AJ Brown, because either way, the Titans are going to put up points today. You know that this game is going to go bonkers. So if you're not playing Derrick Henry, to me, I don't want to say the entire offense, but pretty close to it is going to be Ryan Tannehill and AJ Brown today. So if you are not playing Derrick Henry, you need both of those guys. And it's to the point where you can't just have AJ Brown. Like, you might as well go full-fledged Tennessee aerial attack, and that's the approach that you take. Or you have to lock in Derrick Henry. Those are the only two options that I see when approaching this Tennessee offense today. I can see a scenario where they put up a 13 spot and throw up a dud against Kansas City's defense. I really cannot foresee that happening. So it's either you're locking in Derrick Henry with the Chief on the other side and making it your mini stack, because you can't stack Mahomes with Kelsey and Hardman or Tyreek and Hardman with Derrick Henry. You're going to be left with $1 per player. It just doesn't make sense. It's mathematically impossible to do it. So you go Derrick Henry as your mini stack with Hardman, with Kelsey, with Tyreek, with whoever you can get, or you go Ryan Tannehill with AJ Brown and running back with one of those three guys as well. To me, it's you have to get the Tennessee offense in your lineup today. It just depends if you want approach number one or approach number two. Obviously, anything that involves Derrick Henry, that's the option that I'm taking, because everyone knows how I feel about Derrick Henry. But so I'm going with option number one. But again, if you're not playing Derrick Henry today, and it's to the point where it's like, oh, hey, well, he's really high owned, this, that. Okay, but if Derrick Henry doesn't go bonkers, who is? Because Tennessee will put up 28 points today. That's the approach I'm taking to this game. And I think that there's a big edge to be had with Ryan Tannehill and AJ Brown.
I mean, for what it's worth, this is the highest passing total that sportsbooks have posted for both Patrick Mahomes and Ryan Tannehill. Patrick Mahomes is at 330 yards, and Tannehill's at 255.
I do think that Tannehill throws the ball 40 times today. I think he throws it 40 times.
That's the answer I was looking for. I will only play Tannehill if you think the game script goes at 35 pass attempts or more. So, I think
that he hits 40. I think he hits 40 today.
Well, let's go then. I think the field is completely overlooking Ryan Tannehill. And I think I just made him honorable mention. I started writing a paragraph for him. I was like, I'm not doing it. I just kept looking at all his old box scores, and maybe that's a chump move. I was like, he just throws it 25 times against KC every time because they take the air out of the ball. But if Kansas City, they have to start winning more football games. They got the win last week in convincing fashion. I think they come out, load up right away, go up 14-3 or something like that, and then that's kind of it for Derrick Henry. He's still going to get 25 touches most likely, but as long as KC's scoring on every damn drive, whether it's a touchdown or a field goal, Tennessee's going to have to play up pace, and that bodes great for A.J. Brown and Ryan Tannehill. Any love for guys like Julio Jones or Anthony Firkser? And then obviously Tyreek Hill and Kelsey are in incredible spots. If you could afford them, you play them. Like I said, Mahomes has a 330-yard player prop right now for passing yards. That's insane. You know where that volume's going to. It's going to those three guys, Hardman being the other.
Yeah. To me, it's the big dogs, both teams' respective big threes in Tannehill, Derrick Henry, and A.J. Brown. And then Mahomes, Hill, and Kelsey. My cheap exposure to the Chiefs offense is going to be Nicole Hartman. And I don't have any cheap exposure to Tennessee because A.J. Brown is cheap, in my opinion. 6,300 for a guy that's going to have the game script going his way with a banged up Julio Jones. Like that, this is a guy that can absolutely go bonkers, that can destroy a slate. And it would not surprise me in the least to see him do that after, seeing what he did on Monday Night Football against Buffalo. It's just now he's drawing a ridiculous matchup compared to what he had. He's just physically built for a matchup like this. No one's going to be able to stop him. So I really do like the Tennessee offense. And keep in mind that while the Bills were favored to blow out Tennessee, the spread actually got over 7 with the amount of money that was coming in on Buffalo. The Chiefs are only coming in at -4 favorites here. So Vegas has this as a game, and it's going to be a game. It's going to be a 1-touchdown game, a field goal game. 2 elite offense going at each other. I need to have this as my main stack today.
I'm with you. Yeah, it's likely my second or third just because we'll get to the game that I'm very interested in, and that's actually coming up right now. Washington and Green Bay. All right, Aaron Rodgers. Like I said earlier on the opener, if you missed it, Aaron Rodgers kind of broke my mile this week, showed up right behind Mr. Patrick Mahomes, and he's coming in at 2 to 5% ownership. I think it's around 3 or 4. Devante Adams, the most elite play on this slate. I would rather have. So I think a lot of people are having the issue. We could throw Cooper Kupp in this range too. Maybe people aren't as interested in Cooper Kupp due to the blowout factor there. But Cooper Kupp, Devante Adams, Derrick Henry, you could likely only have one. I'm choosing Devante Adams. I absolutely love Derrick Henry too, but I'm going with the game script that KC just doesn't let off the gas, and just Derrick Henry has a subpar Derrick Henry game. So he gets 25 points. That's a bad game
that would be a subpar Derrick Henry game.
Yeah, right. So
120 and 2 scores would be a subpar Derrick Henry game for today. And I feel like if you fade Derrick Henry, like you're not completely destroyed if he puts up 120 and 2 scores, because he's people paying 92 for Derrick Henry are probably expecting more than that.
Yeah, I think A.J. Brown and Hardman are likely to be in my main lineup. I'm probably going 4 wideouts because I am playing Rodgers, I am playing Devante Adams, and I'm running it back with Terry McLaurin. I think this is an elite spot for Terry McLaurin. Super chalky last week going up against KC. Now no one wants a part of him without Jair Alexander. Darnell Savage, I believe, is highly questionable for this game, and Kevin King is as well. I'd rather Kevin King play because he's that bad. I would love him to try to cover Terry McLaurin. That would be fun to watch. And then on the other side, or continuing with the Washington side, Ricky Seals-Jones is just too affordable as much as I don't want to play him. He fits my main build. So I could take that chalk. It doesn't matter if he's 20, 30% owned because Rodgers is going to be 3%. Terry McLaurin's going to be 3 to 5%. And then I'll take the Devante Adams chalk because I truly believe he's the best play on this slate. And then I have honorable mention to J.D. McKissick because in my game scripts, Green Bay is going absolutely wild, and I hate J.D. McKissick. You guys know how I feel about little pass-catching PPR guys. It's not for me.
Tell us how you really feel about Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, right. We'll get there too. But my game script is Green Bay just goes absolutely nuts, similar to what I think about KC. So I want guys that are who benefits from a we're playing from behind game script. That is J.D. McKissick. That is Terry McLaurin. Ricky Seals-Jones is just too cheap, and he's kind of game script proof no matter what. And then I like Antonio Gibson a little bit, but I just don't see how Green Bay doesn't just score and score and score and score. And Aaron Jones, I think, could also go in that stack with Devante Adams. I don't care if he kind of negatively correlates with Aaron Rodgers, but so I think you saw week 1, he had 3 reception touchdowns. So it could happen, but I think Green Bay scores 40 points. I like their team total over big time, and this is probably my favorite team to stack other than KC, but I'm going to go there in my main because I want the differentiation. Ghost, thoughts on this game?
I love it. Seeing Aaron Rodgers going up against the worst pass defense, which we did have, decent expectations for Washington. Both of us said the same thing, where people have to temper the expectations a little bit. Nobody had film on any, like, it seemed like their entire front seven were all rookies last year, right? So
yeah,
not literally, but it seemed like it. Nobody had a ton of film on these guys, and they were just wrecking havoc on anybody that they played. And I did expect them to, still be a top 10 defense. Neither one of us had them pegged as a top 3. Like, it wasn't to that point where, they can win a division just because of how good their defense is. But I didn't think they were going to be this bad. They are struggling mightily in every facet of an opposing offense, and seeing Aaron Rodgers getting the worst ranked pass defense in the league, it's where the ball is going. That's why I love stacking the Packers. Where the ball is going. It's not, even with Tampa Bay, when everyone's healthy, you can play Mike Evans, you could play Godwin, you could play Antonio Brown, and we could analyze all the individual matchups. At one point, it's going to be a Cameron Brate 2-touchdown day. There's so many mouths to feed there. Whereas with the Packers, exactly where the ball is going. So I do love this stack. I am making it a mini stack. I think RSJ is right back to a I don't want to say an elite option, but pretty close to it. He is a great option this week. If you have to punt tight end, he's the guy that I'm going with, and he's going to be my exposure to a Washington team that's going to be chasing points for 45 plus minutes. So getting exposure to Washington in the form of RSJ and or Terry McLaurin works out really well. And I love your call that you made on Scary Terry. Everyone's playing this guy last week, and he burned a lot of people, and now they're not going to go back to that range in 7K because Calvin Ridley's right there at $500 less. And everyone's going to Calvin Ridley. Everyone is pounding on Calvin Ridley, clicking that plus button immediately next to Calvin Ridley's name. And you have guys like DJ Moore and Terry McLaurin who are both in great spots, and they've been 20+% owned virtually every week of the season. So getting exposure to Washington with those two guys, I do like it. And then I'm not in love with this, but considering I'm playing Derrick Henry with a Chief on the other side, I can't get Devante Adams. Right. So I'm not risking it with a guy like Alan Lazard or anything like that. But I'm even okay just running Aaron Rodgers on his own. I think he goes that bonkers today, where it's to the point where if everything is that concentrated to Devante Adams, and that's the script that we take if you're not playing Derrick Henry, that's what you need. You need a Devante Adams 3-touchdown day, and for him to it's essentially a 1 versus 1. Who's going to score more points, Devante Adams or Derrick Henry, if you end up making that stack? I will never fade Derrick Henry just because that's the way everyone knows that's the way I am. But I'm actually okay even just running Rodgers because I think that he has a chance, a legitimate chance to be the highest scoring quarterback on this slate. I really do like it.
What are your thoughts on this one? I know this was kind of our favorite stack last year, was just going all in Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan
Henry gets
of double
more pass
run
catching
backs.
work.
That's the only thing is I'm not a really big fan of double run backs.
Yeah, I think if you're going that much in on
the only
Tennessee, like go get a stud for Kansas City, right? You want Kelsey or Hartman in that, or Kelsey or Tyreek in that lineup, right?
Yeah, like at that point, your lineup should be Tannehill, Henry Brown, because you can't do it with Mahomes. You should do Tannehill, Henry Brown with Kelsey Hardman or Tyreek Hardman. I'm pretty sure you can't get Kelsey and Tyreek with Derrick Henry. I don't think that's possible, but I would go Tannehill, Henry Brown with one of Kelsey or Tyreek. I'd personally go Kelsey, and then you play Hardman, hoping that he gets the go routes and gets in the box, or at least tries to keep up with Tyreek, and you do it that way. And being able, because you got to think if Tennessee is putting up that many points where Tannehill, Henry, and Brown all get there for you, and they all have ceiling games, you already know Mahomes is not taking his helmet off on the sideline, and he's not handing off the ball. He'll throw the ball 50 times before he lets that happen. So I would try and get a one of the two big studs with Hardman in there.
I'm with you. All right, a couple more questions here. We got some time. What do we got? Aaron Jones. I love Aaron Jones. If I'm not having Rodgers, it just comes right from my
Their rush
article.
defense is struggling too.
Yeah,
Like, it
well,
makes
they've given
sense.
up 7 touchdowns in the past 3 weeks to opposing running backs. So, yeah, with how much I love the Packers, Rodgers, Adams, that should just bode well for a guy like Aaron Jones getting in the red zone as much as I think they will. So, yeah, under 10% ownership, Aaron Jones, I think, is a great, great spot to get different. A-Rod, King Henry, Mixon, Adams, Bateman, Hardman, RSJ, Big Bob. I don't like the double punt of RSJ and Big Bob. I think that's super that could go bad quickly, but it's GPP. That's kind of how you should feel. You should not feel that happy with your lineup. It shouldn't feel
You
great.
also,
But
I know the Rams are
Bateman, RSJ, and Big Bob and Hardman, like those guys could
That's
all
a
go
low
for 8
floor.
points.
Yeah, it's a low floor, right? So,
trouble.
and I know the Rams are favored by like 1 million at this point, and the line keeps actually moving in their favor. But I know there's a blowout factor. We might see some Sony Michel. You need a Ram in your lineup today, like just for that. Like they're gonna put up 28 plus today.
I'm with it. Moving on to Atlanta and Miami. Matt Ryan, one of my top 4 quarterbacks on the week, will be under 5% owned. Calvin Ridley, on the other hand, will not be. He is priced way too cheap. I think he's an elite play, probably a cash game lock. Running it back with, all right, honorable mention, Cordell Patterson for you, Ghost. I will not play that dude. Not at 6,300. Don't care. Mike Gesicki, Kyle Pitts. I would rather run it back with Mike Gesicki. He's just cheaper. I'm not paying almost $6K for Jalen Waddle. I'm sorry. Not when Chris Godwin is in that price range. I love Gesicki as my run back, or I don't like a run back at all because I don't really care. I'm using Matt Ryan and Ridley as a core stack to afford studs in the games we just talked about. Those two, KC, Green Bay, Washington, or something coming on in the afternoon here. That's all I'm using Ryan as. I don't think this game goes well over the total or is a crazy shootout, anything like that. I just think Matt Ryan is way too cheap for a guy that should throw over 300 passing yards. Calvin Ridley is way too cheap for a wide receiver 1 with a likely 30% target share. And then Kyle Pitts, I think, just fits that double stack. If I want to go crazy on it, no one's going to play Kyle Pitts. He did have his big game last week or 2 weeks ago, but that was without Calvin Ridley in the lineup. So I don't know if I want to go back there. Again, I'm just using Matt Ryan as a source of saving salary. And same thing with Gesicki and Calvin Ridley. That's kind of like my only interest in that game. How about yourself?
Next game. You nailed it.
All right. Cincinnati.
I don't want to talk about a game that you're all over because you nailed it.
Damn it. Oh, nice. Here we go. Ramondre Stevenson inactive. Yeah, I love Harris now, dude. 3% Harris. There's no one there. Round them up.
Is the Pats D expensive?
34 on DraftKings. I don't know on FanDuel.
No, I don't like doing that. I don't want to go there.
All right.
I was going to say a little Damian Harris, Pats D.
Chalk Nation. Lamar Jackson again. 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Baltimore, Cincinnati. We got a total of 46. Pretty good number. 11 points lower than Kansas City, though. So you know where my interest is likely going to go.
Yeah.
I do like Joe Mixon in this game at 5%. I always love Joe Mixon. This dude just gets so many touches. There's not many guys that, and I was right about that last week when I said if there's anybody that's going to get 25 plus touches on the main slate, it was Joe Mixon. And I believe he got right around that. Rashad Bateman, chalk week. Interesting to me.
20 plus. Like it's really
points.
chalk. No, 20 plus percent.
Okay. I think
it'll take him 3 weeks to get 20 plus points.
Dude, I'm with you. So I think he's a lock in cash games, and I expect probably 5 to 8 points. Like that's what I expect. I would be happy with 8 points, but it doesn't matter what he does because he opens up everything else. He gets you Adams or he gets you Henry. Maybe both. I don't know how crazy your build can get. If you use Matt Ryan, maybe you could do that. Hint. But I'm not playing him in GPPs at all unless it's a full-on KC Tennessee stack because at the 3,400 range, there really is no other guy that I think will get 5-6 targets. Maybe one guy that, because I'm trying to find, like we always look at like Van Jefferson. I don't think it's a Van Jefferson day. I just don't see Detroit keeping the pace. Maybe he plays a lot and with the second string, get some targets there. I don't know. I see him just taking the air out of the ball. The only other guy I really like in that 3,000 range is Quez Watkins later on. So I think that's my pivot from Rashad Bateman when I'm stacking up KC or in Tennessee and Washington, Green Bay, whatever, or if it's just a Green Bay stack. Like if you play Devante Adams, Rodgers, and Terry McLaurin, you need some salary relief. So I understand what Bateman does to your build. But man, what are his player props? You go ahead. I think he's got like 30 yards as a player prop. Like, it's a run-first offense. I know we talked about Baltimore's ability to play in shootout atmospheres like they did with Kansas City, but I don't see it, man. I'm not going to go 20% ownership on a guy with, yes, a 38-yard prop. That's okay. 3.5 catches with juice on the under. So what are you really expecting? It's still going to be Hollywood Brown, and it's still Mark Andrews. And then it's
They're
Lamar
gonna run the
running
ball. It's
Yeah.
run the ball. Like that's the thing. Like I love Rashad Bateman. I was, like when we had our draft show when we were live at the NFL draft and we were talking about prospects, I kept saying, why is Rashad Bateman dropping so low in the draft? Like, he was one of my highest ranked wide receivers for this year's draft class, and I absolutely love him. But again, it's nursing that injury for multiple weeks, and it's his second game back, on top of not necessarily having the best game script there. And it's in GPPs for me, it's a hard pass, because getting chalky with a 3K punt wide receiver is always a recipe for disaster in GPPs.
Yeah, where's the upside in Rashad Bateman?
In cash, the first guy I put was Rashad Bateman and Derrick Henry. That was my combo. Derrick Henry, Rashad Bateman, right away. Because you need that combo, and Rashad Bateman's 20% owned. If he puts up a 0, I don't care. It's not going to move the needle at all. It won't move the pay line if he puts up 20 or if he puts up 0, because he's likely to be 40+% owned in cash today. So I'm playing him 100% in cash, but in GPPs, that's a hard pass for me. I don't foresee Baltimore having to throw the football all that much in this game. Granted, since he's been hot out the gate, but man, this Baltimore team looks like they're firing on all cylinders right now. It doesn't matter who's playing running back for them. They could literally sign any running back. They could sign a different running back every week and they'll still win games. Like that, they're absolutely clicking on all cylinders right now, to the point where I don't foresee Lamar needing to throw the ball all that much. It's going to be a lot of RPO. It's going to be Mark Andrews over the middle. And if they need a big play, in the case that they need a big play, it's Hollywood Brown or Rashad Bateman. And we know that, right? So I get it. Sammy Watkins is out. He's going to get a decent amount of snaps. He's going to get some targets. He has a safe floor, but it just doesn't do it for me in GPPs at all, like whatsoever.
Love that you're with me there. Any
love
for
the people
Hollywood
as a
Brown?
pivot? Yeah, I do like Hollywood Brown at 5,800.
What about T. Higgins at 4,900? I'll always play T. Higgins if he's under 10%. Not a thing.
I'm not playing him this week.
I think he's a good value. Who'd you rather have, T. Higgins or Nicole Hartman? Water gun to your head, just to spray your head, not anything too dark. That's it. That was the question I asked myself, because I could, with the defense going to Houston or going down to, I think the Jets is going to be my other defense in my.
No, McColl gets in the box. McColl gets in the box on a jet sweep.
All right, cool. Then I'm not very interested in this game at all, other than
that's my call in the shot this week. McColl gets in the box on a jet sweep.
Are you fading Lamar chalk then?
100%. I'm not playing him anywhere. Cash or GBP, I'm not playing him.
I think he's fine for cash, but if you're playing Bateman,
absolutely.
I don't want to pair him, because I'd rather.
I just don't want that pairing. Yeah, I'm playing Jalen. Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. I think the Ravens D is in a great spot. I think the Bengals D is just kind of whatever. I'd rather just go down the Jets
D as well.
Yep, that's Baltimore will be very interesting for me. And then moving on to the afternoon, Detroit, LA.
Oh boy.
I would love to play Stafford, but I had to cut somebody because I only want to play 5 quarterbacks this week. And Jalen Hurts was my fifth to the 4 that I talked earlier, just because I like Jalen Hurts is going to be so chalky, but the dude he could have a terrible game and he goes for 25. He's kind of like Derrick Henry at this point. Not to compare the two, but what he provides with his legs, it's just too hard to ignore. Daryl Henderson is probably the most mispriced running back on this slate on DraftKings. He's 30% owned. I think I'm at 60%. I hate this guy. I'm very scared that he's always going to leave a game and get injured, but it's a elite spot. We always talk about double-digit home favorites. That and Detroit's run defense is god-awful. Henderson gets it done in the passing game a little bit as well. Cooper Kupp, I mean, the dude's elite. Apparently, when I hate somebody, they just have the year of their life. So that's my thoughts on Cooper Kupp. I'm probably not going to play any Robert Woods, but you could certainly stack this game up. Like, you could play all the Rams. You saw last week, they do not really take their foot off the gas till really late. I don't see how Detroit's
They
going to
really
score.
don't.
So, yeah, I mean, they're just so damn efficient. Maybe McVay has a little sour feeling with Jared Goff or something and just wants to kick his ass. Certainly could happen. I'm with it. I will never talk you off this game. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is a pretty interesting run back as well. He's got pretty decent props, and it should be, that game script I talked about with Washington. Who benefits when we, play from behind? It's going to be DeAndre Swift. That's going to be St. Brown. Hawkinson certainly in play, but LA is very good at covering the tight end. But Hawkinson kind of moves all over. He's not really your standard tight end. He'll play the slot. He'll play out wide a little bit too. And then Tyler Higbee, I did bet him to score a touchdown, but I did not put him in my player pool. That was about it. Just because, I think Higbee's in a really good spot. Detroit can't cover the tight end at all. They play so much man coverage and just leave these linebackers on guys that they can't cover, they can't stick with. Higbee is a really good athlete. So I like him to score a touchdown today, and that's like me kind of covering my ass for fading him in DFS. But he's not going to be popular anyway. If Higbee has a big day, he's not going to kill you. He's more like a Millie Maker type of play. But any other thoughts on this game? I'm sorry, I'm just on a rant this morning.
No, I'm playing Henderson, and that's it. I'm not playing anyone else.
Play Henderson and cash, guys, no matter what. Everybody's going to. Every sharp player out there, likely every, new player is going to do that. So I think he's he's the highest owned player on the slate, right?
The price, the price just doesn't make sense. For me, it's Derrick Henry, Henderson. That's where you start, and Rashad Bateman. That's where you start in cash.
Here's a very good input here from Sia, Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. I think Xavier Howard's still beat up, and he's kind of having a bad year. But Byron Jones is awesome. I think he's a really good player. So maybe that's a path for failure on the Ridley chalk. But he's just so damn cheap.
AJ Brown,
best route runners. Yeah, I would rather pivot to AJ Brown. I think someone asked that question. Let's go up to there. That would push me in the direction of AJ Brown for sure. If I wasn't going to say AJ Brown to begin with, which I will. I mean, point total of 57 points. That should push you in the direction of where you need to go. Ridley or AJ Brown? Here we go. I knew I saw that question earlier. I'm going AJ Brown.
There we go.
Let's go.
AJ Brown.
Let's do it.
Quick question. I don't know. I saw it a bit in the Discord, so I'm going to bring it up for everyone that's listening. I'm sure that some people have this question. Are you considering Dante Pettis as a pivot to Rashad Bateman at 3K? Because they're going to, the way they think, they're going to see the 11 targets from last week. So I just want to get that out there, that both of us are on the same page, that it's a hard no.
Double no. Give me Quez Watkins, baby.
I see it in Discord, so I wanted to bring it up.
Where's
in case
Brian?
Anyone's not active in the comments or anything.
Brian McClure, I need some Quez Watkins thoughts for our local Philly guy. What do we got? Even with Jones active, with Byron Jones, is that what I'm assuming with Byron Jones? Is that what we're talking about?
Or is it with
with Julio?
Are we playing AJ with? Yeah, it's
I think
if anything, it helps AJ Brown. If anything, it helps him.
I think Julio helps him there for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I mean, Julio's probably going to leave in the first quarter. I'm starting him in season long now, so I don't have to start Hartman anymore if Julio's good to go.
Yeah,
but I'm expecting
AJ Brown's going to go. This is going to be a Thanksgiving week for the Titans.
Let's go. Then play all the Mahomes you can afford. Philly, Las Vegas, the chalkiest game in the world. Jalen Hurts, super, super popular. Miles Sanders, 20% owned. Breaks my heart because I don't want to play Miles Sanders this week, but the price tag is forcing me to. I am under on his rushing prop. I think I took that. I don't remember the number. I'll have to pull up my spreadsheet here soon. I love Josh Jacobs. It sounds like Waller is severely questionable. So if you're a guy that makes like 150 lineups or anything like that, and you went overweight on Waller, as I did last night, right after I finished my GPP article, apparently I didn't see the ankle news. So I had to shift a ton this morning. Dallas Goedert, a really good spot. I think he's fine for cash games. I think I'd rather go down to RSJ just to get more Derrick Henry or Devontae Adams because Goddard probably will hinder that ability to do so. But
with Matt Ryan at quarterback,
Devonta Smith is in an excellent spot here. His ownership is going down on the site that I'm looking at right now. I thought he was going to be close to 20% owned. You know what Ghost and I feel about the Vegas Raiders secondary outside of Casey Hayward, but I don't think Casey Hayward could stick with Devonta Smith. He is kind of like Calvin Ridley Jr. to me. I think he's an elite route runner, lanky, fast as hell. But I'm going to say it right now. I think My favorite play in this game is Quez Watkins. I think he is an elite single entry or milli maker type of GPP play. The guy's snap share, that's what I'm more interested in. I know the target share, we can speculate all you want without Zach Ertz. We don't know what this offense is going to look like. Jack Stahl is a blocking tight end. So I really don't think we see a lot of 12 set from Philly like we saw with Ertz and Goddard both running routes at the same time. So that's where this is like, I'm kind of diving into the unknown of I don't know what Quez's role is likely to be, but I think it's going to be very, very, very crucial to this offense moving forward. The dude is so talented. He's got pretty good hands, can blow the doors off you. He could run a short routes, and as Brian was saying earlier, he could take wide receiver screens to the boat. So I'm buying in on Quez Watkins right now. I think this is a great spot for him, and it's more of a gamble. It's like, where did the target share go with Zach Ertz? I'm hoping Quez Watkins, as we've seen his snap share go from 40 to 50 to 60 to, I believe, 70% the last 2 weeks. Clearly, Sirianni likes this guy. As long as Vegas can keep the pace going and score, it's a pretty high total in this game. I think we're at 48.5. I never in my life thought I'd ever be talking about Quez Watkins this long unless it was like some preseason showdown slate or some shit like that. But thoughts on this game? I have a feeling that Quez Watkins goes, he scores higher than Rashad Bateman. That's all I need him to do because I do need the savings. I do need a 3K guy. Quez Watkins outscores Rashad Bateman. Let's get it done.
I like that. I like that call. I love this game. These are two very questionable defenses at best, if we're being nice on a Sunday morning. This Eagles offense has the potential to go nuts today. I am not playing Miles Sanders. I do not want to play a 20 to 25% owned running back when he hasn't given me any reason to play him. Like that for me is, like people are talking about fading Derrick Henry because it's an ownership advantage or whatever other reason that they give themselves for not playing a guy like Derrick Henry or Devante Adams. But then you go in and you play Miles Sanders. Like it's like I do think that he has a good game, but for me, it's going to be a hard pass. James Conner again, $500 more. You have Williams that's there at 5,800 on DK. Like it's just, for me, I'm not playing Miles Sanders, and I'm going more Hurts with Watkins or Devonta. I think both of them are in a really, really good spot. So I'm going more Philly aerial attack. And if Waller's out, my mini stack from this game, I know you don't like small slot receivers, but I will play Hunter Renfrow if Darren Waller's inactive because I think he'll get 15 targets this week.
I think that's fair. I think most books took the Raiders side of props off the board for their wide receivers for that exact same reason. So, I mean, if I plugged in a inactive for Darren Waller in the 80 mile, I mean, Renfro is going to have a really good output. So I can't argue with you there. Sometimes opportunity, that's really what we look for in a PPR format of DraftKings. Obviously, it's upside and opportunity volume. So, yeah, he makes sense.
Well, it's because they don't – the reason why I really like that is because they don't have an underneath – threat.
Come on,
at
Johnny.
That point.
Quez Watkins.
They don't have an underneath threat. Ruggs is going to run 70-yard go routes every single time he steps foot on the field. And Edwards is more of a red zone threat for them. Like they don't have anyone running routes over the middle outside of Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller. And if Waller's out, man, Carr's going to be feeding him. So I do like Hunter Renfrow on the other side. That's the only Raider that I'll play today. But if Waller's active, then I might, that injury news he's gonna be sub 2% owned with that injury news if he does play. So I might end up having a Waller lineup, but right now it's gonna be Renfrow for me in the Philly passing attack. I'm not playing Miles Sanders at that ownership.
I'll play him in cat. I'm going to play him a lot. I need the savings. In lineups I don't have Quez Watkins, I'll probably have Sanders. Maybe I'll go both. I don't know. What do you think here?
If you're not playing Henry, then you need to go all in savings and just get Devante Adams and elite wide receivers. So
sounds like this whole live stream.
And a TD. Wow.
Let's go. I'm going to bet
let's do it.
A unit and a half on his receiving yards over on Quez
What's
Watkins.
it at?
41.5 on DraftKings at a minus $1.15. I'm going to price shop. I'm going to price shop though. You could probably get like 39 or 40 somewhere, maybe offshore like 38.5. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to move on that market for sure. I just got a feeling, again, we're taking a gamble that Quez Watkins' role takes a significant increase without Zach Ertz. That's it. That's all I'm doing. The guy's too talented. Clearly, I think that's kind of a reason they traded Zach Ertz. Like, we need to get this guy on the field way more because he is a difference maker, and I think he is. Back to Trent's question. Tom Brady, Henry, Damian Harris, Godwin, Waddle, Bateman, Kmet, Henderson. I think you get off Tom Brady in cash. You definitely don't need him in cash, especially when they're a 30-point favorite too, or whatever is going on this week. And then upgrade Waddle, downgrade Henry to maybe Hurts. What do you think? Upgrade Waddle or upgrade Kmet, in my opinion? I'd rather just go to RSJs as long as I'm going in cash. I know Kmet's popular, pretty high owned. Antoine Winfield Jr. is back too, and he covers the tight end a lot. He will be a problem for Cole Kmet. So I want RSJ at tight end.
I would go down. Well, it really depends how much savings you need. But if you need, Tom Brady to Hurts gets you $800. So I'm playing Hurts in cash. You need Derrick Henry. You need Bateman. You need Godwin. I would upgrade Waddle. I don't trust.
I think Waddle's all right without Parker. Like, I don't want to force Waddle out. I think just make sure.
I would definitely go Kmet to RSJ. I wouldn't.
He can't play Jets defense too because he's rolling Damian Harris, which I'm okay with. Yeah. I think you just probably take the bullet and you play Sanders, man. Are you fine with Sanders in cash?
I am. He's 20. I am. He's 20% owned. You know he's going to be high owned in cash. It's just for me. It's like when I say I'm not playing someone, I mean in GPP. So like I'm not playing a 20% on.
Oh fuck, we got people excited to play Quez everywhere.
Both
play Renfro.
Both sounds good.
No, do not just play Quez in like a large field single entry and the million maker type of stuff.
Don't play Quez Watkins in season.
No, Renfro is a guy that is getting 8 targets. Play Renfro.
Yeah.
RSJ down
perfect.
RSJ down.
Yeah, because it's $800 on both sides. That's perfect.
Yeah. Eat the 100
TB12
and you're good.
Hurts and then commit to RSJ. Perfect.
Yeah, play TB12 and GPP.
If you have this is a very minor detail, but if you don't change anything if you don't. But if you have the $200, I suggest going up the Cardinals D because they're going to be 50% on in cash.
Yeah, and it's Houston. Moving on to Chicago, Tampa Bay. I think funny stat. I guess it's not even funny. It's nuts. Tom Brady throws the ball 45 times a game, and the game script does not matter. The 80-mile projects him for 42, so they're thinking Tom Brady goes off, takes his foot off the gas a little bit. But 42 pass attempts leads this slate, and this is all just projections. I'm not saying this is going to happen. Use this for your, educational guesses. Tyler Johnson. Let's talk about him real quick. 10% ownership right now. I'm seeing. That is the easiest fade in the world for me again. Like, come on, guys. What is he going to get? 1 catch for a touchdown? At 3K, maybe that's all you need. If it gets you off Bateman or if you don't trust Quez. All right. I'll let you. I'm okay with. I'm not let you. Like, what the hell do I have any saying? I would sign off on Tyler Johnson if the rest of your lineup was fucking amazing. Sorry to cuss, but like it needs to be that clear. If you had Bateman in that lineup with Tyler Johnson, or RSJ and Tyler Johnson, or Cole Kmet and Tyler Johnson. Like, I don't see a path to success with that lineup. But if Tyler Johnson is your one piece of fat, I prefer every lineup to be 0 fat. But if he's your one piece of fat, I'm okay with it. Let's see what the books have for him. But what are your thoughts on this game overall?
I do like Tampa Bay's passing offense. I think it gets a little bit more concentrated than what we're used to with Antonio Brown out. So
that's what helps. I love. That's exactly what I wrote.
Yeah, like my issue with always stacking Tampa Bay is that you get a random OJ Howard 3 touchdown game. Like it's like
honestly, sorry to cut you off. Sorry to cut you off. The question is Tom Brady with Antonio Brown and let's say Gronk's back in a couple of weeks. Like when they're fully healthy, Tom Brady's like a naked quarterback. Forcing a stack it could kill you there. Like just know the production's coming. You don't know who the hell is coming from. So I feel like he's no
clue.
I think someone won the million maker with Tom Brady naked earlier this year.
Yeah.
Probably a beautiful
It was the game he went for 450 and 5 touchdhdowns.
Yeah. Tyler Johnson's got a 29-yard catch prop.
So I texted you about this. When was it? Tuesday? Wednesday? Like it was really early in the week. I texted you about Tyler Johnson. He was 0% owned. 0. not like seeing double digits on a guy that is, I guess, lining up as a third wideout. Like, why on earth would I play double digit? That is chalk for a three. It's not chalk when we in the general sense of the term, but it's chalk when it comes to a minimum price guy, and that is beyond gross. So
Play Tyler Johnson in the showdown.
I'm not doing it.
That's my thoughts there.
Put Tyler Johnson in the captain spot in your Bucks showdown lineup for all, like, just go all in at that point and try and take down $100,000 in a showdown for $5. Do that. But we can't be risking money on Tyler Johnson at 10% ownership. Like,
nope. I'd rather play Bateman.
Would it surprise you in the least? I know my answer to this question, but would it surprise you in the least if this man runs a couple routes and gets 0 targets and 0 catches? Would it surprise you?
I wouldn't be surprised if Scotty Miller came back out of nowhere and outscored Tyler Johnson. And that's a decision I cannot invest in.
Wearing a Cooper Kupp jersey.
No, I won't wear that.
No, I'm saying he would wear a Cooper Kupp jersey because it's literally like, it's just you can't play 10% owned 3K guy. It doesn't make sense. Where is the edge there? Where else are you? And on top of that, what is the point of playing a 3K guy?
It's to get to Henry or Adams, so everybody's doing that too. So.
And everyone's doing that too. So where are you getting different? Like, you can't say I'm playing a 3K guy, but I'll get different elsewhere. Okay, but the reason why you're playing a 3K guy is to play chalky, high-owned options. Like, I don't get it. I was interested when he was under 1% owned, and I was, gonna throw a flyer out there to pivot off Rashad Bateman. I see him 10%, and now it's just under 12 right now on DraftKings. It makes a negative amount of sense for me to play Tyler Johnson right now. At that point, play Bateman. At that point, if your build absolutely requires that, you might as well go with a guy that has a legitimate role, not with someone that's a high upside prospect that is going to run a couple routes and is going to be in the future of the Tampa Bay receiving corps. Like, Brady's going to pepper the ball to Godwin today and Mike Evans. He'll force feed Mike Evans the ball, but it's all Godwin and Fournette out of the backfield as well. So no, I'm not playing Tyler Johnson whatsoever anywhere. Certainly not cash, not GBP. I'm not playing a 10% owned punt in GBP. At that point, just go up to Bateman. If you're gonna eat chalk, eat better chalk with Rashad Bateman than Tyler Johnson.
All right, Godwin, elite play for me. I mean, I hate that he's super popular.
I'm playing him everywhere.
5,900.
I'm playing him everywhere.
Yep. And then Mike Evans. Mike Evans is a nice little leverage play. I think the double stack, like Ghost said, we know that where the target volume is going now, it's going to be, 50% of these pass attempts are probably going to Godwin and Mike Evans combined. Double stack them. No one's playing Mike Evans. Run it back with my boy. I am extremely high on Allen Robinson.
Shipping the chips?
It scares the hell out of me, man. It scares the hell out of me. Allen Robinson, but he's down to 5,100 on DraftKings. He's 5,800 on FanDuel, even cheaper over there in terms of total percentage of your bankroll on that. That's just nuts. I mean, you can't run on Tampa Bay. You literally can't. We saw the Bears have the most pass attempts of the season last week. Let's hope that trend goes. It has to go up unless Nagy is a coward. He may just punt and just say, let's just get out of Tampa Bay, go home and get back to practice and say some bullshit that he always says to the media about how we're getting better because they're not getting better. But the volume for Mooney and Allen Robinson probably is the highest it will ever be in today, and their prices are the lowest will likely be, at least for Allen Robinson. Obviously, Mooney's price was lower. But that's my thoughts on this game. Fournette is certainly in play. I'm not touching a Bears running back. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Are you interested in Cole Kmet at all? I think it's okay if he's the one piece of fat in your lineup, or if you're stacking this game, he makes sense to run there. So he should get a lot of targets, but Antoine Winfield being active scares me because he's a really good player.
Yes. I agree 100% with everything you said. And the only thing that I want to point out is that Darnell Mooney is only $500 less than Allen Robinson, which blows my mind. 5,100 for Allen Robinson. Wow. I didn't think it would ever get to this point, but they're throwing the ball more. Fields looks way more comfortable than he did a couple weeks ago. So I do like, it scares me, but I do like Allen Robinson this week, and I am starting him in season long also. And
I think it's a big game for him, man. You just got to trust it. He's in my
I think the script is there. The script is there. Tampa Bay is, I don't know. They're going to be throwing the ball all day. So it's just if they're moving the chains, it's because of Allen Robinson. So I'm taking a chance there. And if I'm getting different, he is the exact same price as Miles Sanders. Allen Robinson outscores Miles Sanders this week.
I could see that. I'm with that for sure.
Same
Joe,
price,
good question
same
here.
price.
I'm gonna hit this question real quick. If you got any thoughts on it, please let me know.
This is all you. This projection model. That's all you.
So they're very close to each other. And then I made those projections before Winfield was active. So that is kind of I will adjust those before kickoff. Komet's not going to go down very much because, again, the volume and the game script, like you said, it's perfect for Cole Kmet. But RSJ, with no Darnell Savage for the Packers or a very banged up Darnell Savage, if anybody knows the Packers injury report, would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, it's just, and the target share for RSJ is a little bit higher and the red zone share as well. So that's just, I'd rather go there, and he's a lot more popular. So in cash, I want RSJ. I just think it's a much better matchup with Darnell Savage likely out or banged up. Kobe Robert, Ghost. What do we got? Matt Ryan, Sanders, Fournette, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, AJ Brown, Pitts, Waddle, and Jets. It's good for GPP. I don't love Waddle, but I like the run back. That makes sense there. I'm with it. You like any? I mean, he's got a great mix of chalk and a great mix of very low owned upside guys.
I find it tough to play Matt Ryan and not, like, if you're gonna eat a bit of chalk, I would just go Ridley.
You don't have to.
Yeah, it's not a requirement.
Look at the lineup though. He's got Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill and AJ Brown.
The Tyreek Hill AJ Brown mini stack is
sex.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm cool with that, man. That's going to be a really different lineup. You know, it's tough for me to say.
No one's going to have that lineup.
Yeah, I can't ever guarantee anybody's going to cash in GPP, but that's a pretty different lineup. I wouldn't mess with it. If your gut like that, stick with it. Last game, Houston, Arizona. Houston out of my player pool. Arizona, DeAndre Hopkins, 4% owned, 5% owned, revenge narrative. The dude's getting in the box twice, play him. And then James Conner, I think, scores twice. Like I said earlier in this show, he has the second highest running back touchdown equity on the slate in my model, which again blew my mind. I'm not a James Conner guy, but 19-point home favorite. He's going to get in the box. So this guy has tore up game scripts that go in favor of a blowout. So I'm all for it. And I, like Go said earlier, Chase Edmonds is banged up. And then Cardinals defense, the nut chalk on DraftKings, play them in cash. Just do it. They're way too cheap. I think they're the max price on FanDuel and one of the lower prices on DraftKings. That is my thoughts on this game, and then I'm done.
I'm playing James Conner, Arizona D. That's where it starts and ends with this game for me. That's it. That was a nice little rhyme, too. Wow. That's it. James Conner, Arizona D.
All right.
The rest is gross. There's no other reason. Oh, and what I did do, non-DFS related, sports betting related, is I put a lot of money on DeAndre Hopkins scoring a touchdown against his former team.
I think it's a lock of the locks.
Yeah, that is.
All right.
That's it.
All right, cash game quarterback for me is going to be Jalen Hurts. GPP is going to be Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. I have to say both. I'm sorry, but Patrick Mahomes with a 330-yard passing prop is insane. And Ghost and I both think that KC goes absolutely nuts. I'm going to bet him too. The hell with it. Go ahead.
Let's go to those are my exact picks. Let's go to running backs, but I will mention Ryan Tannehill. Mention Ryan Tannehill.
I think that's very sneaky. All right, running backs.
I'm on the same three guys.
Running backs. Henderson for me for cash. GPP is going to be Aaron Jones, and honorable mention to James Conner if you need some savings, and Damian Harris, I guess. But I think I prefer James Conner.
King Henry, James Conner, Henderson, and Daryl Williams.
All right, nice.
With King Henry,
all right.
With King Henry.
Cash game, wide receiver, lock for me is Chris Godwin. GPP wide receiver. Devontae Adams is my top play. I just want that to be known. GPP, I'm doing it, guys. Let's go. Quez Watkins.
Oh my God.
I'm playing.
I love it. We got to throw Allen Robinson as an honorable mention.
Definitely. I thought you would do it, so I got off there.
Cash wide receiver for me is Godwin. And my GBP wide receiver is going to be AJ Brown.
Give us an honorable mention, a cheapie.
An honorable mention, cheapie.
Oh, you're going to say Allen Robinson, right?
He's Allen Robinson, and I'm also not just mentioning him. I'm calling the play. Nicole Hartman gets in the box on a jet sweep.
Oh, all right. I thought it'd be a play action bomb because he's too fast.
Yeah, that too. But he's getting in on. It's one of those Mahomes where he goes in the shotgun clap and he just tosses it like this, and Nicole Hartman on a jet sweep. But it counts as a passing touchdown for Patrick Mahomes for some reason. Just because Mahomes does that play, the league gives him a passing touchdown. So we're going to dabble in all those fantasy points.
I like that. All right. Cash, tight end for me, Ricky Seals-Jones, and GPP, Travis Kelce.
Yeah, RSJ in cash for me, Kelce and GBP, and I will mention Dallas Goedert as well.
Dope.
Oh, wide receiver, I forgot. My bad. I forgot. If Waller is out, I am playing a ton of Hunter Renfrow.
Okay, that's fair. That makes a lot of sense.
I will play a ton of Hunter Renfrow.
Carlos, quick question. Yeah, hit us up on Discord, and I think Ghost or Stoby is a big optimizer guy as well. So, or I can maybe hop in there and chat with you maybe this afternoon. But yes, go to the Discord, just at one of us, and we'll get going. Let's look at two lines real quick. Cash, Patty, King Henry, Darrell Williams, Bateman, Godwin, Ridley, Kmet, Sanders, Giants.
That's very close to mine. I just have Hurts. I have Hurts and a better tight end.
I will not talk you off Patrick Mahomes. If you got Patrick Mahomes with fit and cash, go to work.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Julian, Hurts, D. Will, Henry, Bateman, Godwin. Devante Parker is not playing today, so please don't play him. RSJ, Henderson, Cardinals D. I think that's good. Just obviously get Parker out of there.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes. Don't play that in case.
Yeah.
FanDuel Cash, this is yours. Then I got to roll. I got to adjust.
Matt Ryan, Derrick Henry, Henderson, Godwin, Bateman, Robinson, RSJ, Jake. You can't play Josh Jacobs in cash. Go all the way down on FanDuel. You can't though. He's priced up pretty well on FanDuel. That's the only reason why. It's more of an ownership play. I think he does really well today. It's just more of an ownership play. And everyone's punting all the way down with Jets D, so you can eat that chalk. It's to the point where they're 30+% owned on FanDuel because they're the stone cold minimum. So go up to Jets D and then upgrade Jacobs, and do not play Rashad Bateman on FanDuel. That's a DraftKings play.
What's the chug bet? I didn't think we had one today, or did I lose? I don't have a beer with me. I'll do it.
We're so in sync this week that I don't even
can't force it.
Can't force it.
All right.
Unless
good luck, everybody.
Allen Robinson outscoring Miles Sanders for the exact same price, but I think both of us like Allen Robinson.
I have to go get Quez Watkins in my lineups, please.
Yes, that too.
All right. See you guys. Good luck. Again, Quez Watkins is more just large field. Don't bankroll on it, but he's going
100% Quez Watkins today. That's what
put your house on Quez Watkins.
That's what we're doing. Okay.
Yeah. I'm kidding. All right. Good luck. Thank you all so much for the support. If you don't mind pressing the like button on YouTube or whatever source you're looking on this, we greatly appreciate it. And let's go Aaron Rodgers, and let's go Mahomes and
King Henry.
All right, fine. And Devante.
Yes.